All right. So the title should be adjusted. All right, I'm gonna get into this game, I think. So Jose Raul Capablanca. All right, let's see. Raul Capablanca. Let's see. Okay, okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. So let's get this game in. All right. So last time we left off, we've seen the destruction of Juan Corzo in 19. I think it was 1908, and we went over. No, this is 1901, and so this is chess in its very raw form. We saw this nice Vienna game with the sacrifice, and then Capablanca sacrificed back a piece and entered this position where he had a better initiative, and eventually he was able to attack, find a weakness that was very hidden in the position and attack it somehow. And also he dealt with these weaknesses of f4 and c7, and that's some interesting stuff. So he goes rook d2, and he sacrifices but clears this f4 square, and then he goes rook g2, rook f2, and then forks, and his pawn's coming through. And so this was a really nice game, and this is a classic. And so I guess the chess world was kind of shocked by this game and stuff. Like this child prodigy beats the champion of Cuba, I think at the time, and I think this is a very impressive feat for it's in history and everything. This is you know, and so this is a casual game, and this is in 1902. This is another game between Juan Corzo and Jose Raul Capablanca. Let's see. I'm just gonna check and see how bad or see how good my stream is coming along here. I guess you guys can't see the whole board. Let's fix that. I'm not the best with tech stuff. Hopefully this is good. You guys can see the notation too, so you guys can think about things ahead of time. All right. All right. So Jose Raul Capablanca. And so this is Jose Raul Capablanca has the black pieces in this game. And so for me particularly, this actually has had a huge influence on my chess. Actually, is white. And so I will show you guys the game that I played today. Actually, before we get into this is a blitz game because it did slip my mind, but I actually did play a game like this today. Let's see, it was yeah, it was this one. I played this like 6 hours ago. And so I actually had a game. You guys might like this. I actually had a game that's very similar to this. The thing is, this game has had such an impression on my chess that it's still in my mind. I actually, I don't study the theory. I just look at some stuff of these old masters. So there's Bishop D3, and then I like to spice things up. So I played Bishop E3. Bishop G5 was what was played, I think, in the Capablanca game. And the problem with that move is it exchanges too many pieces and white loses some initiative. I got to keep the initiative here. And so I go knight G5. And here's the thing. My pieces are well placed. Okay, so here's an issue. If I go knight G5 now, where is it? 97. Let's say, yeah, white goes. I got to go analysis board. Let's say white goes knight g5 now. They have h6, I think. Oh wait, h6 doesn't work. Whoops. Where's the point where I do that? Or I've tried that before. I think I play that. So there's this. Oh yeah, if you can try knight g5 now, but then there's just h6, right? Like you got to do it at the right time, I think. But anyway, and so in my blitz game, I play bishop e3, and then there's knight f6, and there's knight g5, And I go queen e2. You know, I want to wait until he plays h6 until I do my fun. I want him to play h6 because I want those nice squares. Give me them. And so he plays that, and I want to play g takes f3 because I want to keep my idea possible. And he goes c6, and I just castle. I have a great development here. He goes queen a5, I go king b1, just defending a2 and keeping my idea possible. He goes h6 now, and I'm very, very happy because now his king is in the center here. And so he goes king d8, and I go bishop d2 attacking e6. And here's the thing, I'm ready to play bishop to c3 if he takes. And this just gives me a lot of stuff. I open the file, I'm attacking e6, and his king is on the e file. So he goes here, and then I go here. I guess I'm just attacking e6. I don't know if I actually honestly have much compensation here. But yeah, he defends, and I go rook here. I don't know if this is necessary. I should have just played d5 immediately. Because now well, I guess g5 does give me some ideas that were used later on in the game. And so there's d5. He plays this, and I play f4. Just trying to open my rook and play maybe like rook. I don't even know if that's a move, but maybe he should have just taken. Probably he should have just taken. I don't think I was just bluffing here. I think. Bishop here, and then I go bishop here, and all of a sudden I think his pieces are just very discoordinated. I think like there's h3, there's bishop c4, and now I think he's just losing because this is really weird. He should have taken on either one of those pawns. I think. Like, what is he doing here? He should take. Oh man. And so now I'm just now my pawns are really strong, and I think he's just lost now. Like, this is decisively lost. I'm at least winning a rook, and that's how the game ended. But going back. Yeah, this is I think that there's some great sacrificial ideas here. And so with this, oh, actually, this knight sacrifice idea I've gotten from Botvinnik or no, Botvinnik versus Tal. Tal like to do this. And you know, it's I just like to sacrifice an e6. What can I say? It's a fun thing to do, and I get bored sometimes, so why not try it? It's fun. Um, yeah. So anyway, so this game has influenced my chess quite a bit. And so let's see. How does this game go for the great Jose Raul Capablanca? And so I should get another light on here. Hopefully that's better. All right. So now I can see the book. So e4 is played by Juan Corzo. E6, Capablanca. So d4, and Capablanca plays the French defense. And this is, you know, I think this is a really good opening. It's solid. It's classical. It's timeless. I don't know if the Carl Khan was explored as much these days, or those days, or the French was explored as much. But anyway, its solid reputation is probably given it a good recognition. And so knight c3 is played, and then Capablanca takes an e4, and he plays bishop to d7. And so one of my favorite streamers, I don't know if you guys, if the people are here even watching, but Salty Clown, he's a good streamer. He plays this exact variation, I think. Bishop d7, and he goes bishop c6, forking the knights. This is called the Fort Knox variation. Whoa, we got rid of it. I wonder if there's a chessable course on this, because I mean, there's some room for that. But anyway, yeah, Salty Clown plays this, so it's a pretty cool system. And so knight f3 is played, and now bishop c6. And it's I guess the idea is we're getting rid of our bad bishop in a very elaborate way. We can continue with either b6 or or bishop d5 and c6. There's lots of ideas. There's knight f6, there's knight ge7, bishop e6 or bishop d6 or bishop e7. I think black's got a very good solid position here. Probably, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing this bishop d5, but I guess it just provokes c4 and we're going into that really. Oh well, I mean after the knight moves, right? The knight's gotta move. Like say knight g3. I don't know, bishop or I guess c5 immediately or bishop d5 and c5. I don't know, but I guess I've seen some weird positions like in the Karo Khan where the bishop ends up on d5 somehow with some weird strange route. But anyway, um, so bishop d3, knight d7, controlling c5 and preparing like knight gf6. And the thing is, black is going for some good exchanges, and so I guess he's going to try to make use of some weak squares after the exchanges. It's a very classical thing, but again, here's my. I mean, if I'm going to be a stickler about this position, I'm going to say that there's only two ways to counter this: the space advantage, and we've mentioned this in the first lesson with Capablanca. It's you need a counter blow in the center, and you also need dynamic piece play for this. So anyway, oh man, lots of analysis today. um, did I go too fast? Let's see. Bishop d7. Mm, let's go to bishop d7. Okay, so the book says, what does this say in this book? It's why does the idea behind this strange move of bishop d7 for Knox variation? It says this is the first recorded game. This is the first recorded game of the for the Fort Knox variation of the French defense. The idea is to develop the bishop via c6, chop a white knight, either on a4 or f3. Then black plays c6, and we get a Caro-Kann-like formation where black eliminates his potentially bad bishop, then switches the pawn structure to the opposite color of his remaining bishop. I see. And so this is very, very interesting. I mean, yeah, and I guess you get some very weird, wonky positions too that you wouldn't see like in a Caro-Kann or something too. I'm pretty sure because like in the Caro-Kann you usually exchange light square bishops, but this is gonna have some nice and balanced endgame sometimes, right? Because chopping on a white knight, um, bishop versus knight, those kinds of games are very interesting. So anyway, knight f3, bishop c6 forking, bishop d3, knight d7, castles, and knight gf6, and bishop g5. Now, okay. So this is why for me in my game I went for bishop e3. I think, because I want h. Okay, here's the big difference. Yeah, I'm gonna mark this actually as just dubious. It doesn't help with the position. Yeah, I think what is it? Knight g3. These are two. Okay, so here's the thing. This move increases the likelihood of trades, and this helps black. This helps black because the position is solid. His only worry is about if his position remains clamped. Swaps are in his favor. Like knight g3 and knight ed2 keeps the pieces on the board the modern way to play as white. So knight ed2. So this keeps pieces, and knight g3 keeps pieces. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'd consider knight g3 and maybe like bishop e3, right? I'd consider maybe something like this. Right. Maybe the bishop, you can argue this knight is not a little bit optimal, but it's simple development, and you got c4 coming maybe, or rook e1. I mean, there's many different interpretations to this. I gotta get water. Let's see. So bishop g5 was played by white here. Yeah, and so we don't want to trade. So Capablanca just plays bishop e7. And here's the thing. Black took on a f6 here with a knight. The alternative, like if he tries knight ed2, trying to transpose to that variation that we showed, there's h6, bishop h4, and castles. And rook e1 and b5. This is a really interesting thing. And is there a way? I'm wondering if can we play c4 here? So knight ed2, forcing move, castles. Can we play c4 here? Is that even possible? I guess the issue. Oh, okay. Bishop f3, knight f3, c5, and there's no problems here. This is like almost a Rubinstein French, actually. Yeah, this is actually really fine for black, actually. Like, maybe, okay, you can argue white has the queenside majority, but yeah, I think for me, I've never had an issue in these positions. Um, but yeah, b5, this is a really nice concept, controlling that light square. a4 met by a6, takes. Then there's like queen a1. We've got a ready's arrow coming. All right. So now let's see. So bishop f6, knight f6. What is? Oh, whoops! I didn't mean that. So bishop f6, knight f6, queen e2, castles, c4, bishop takes e4, bishop takes e4, c6. So black is solid here. This is one way things could have gone. He could have taken on s6 to try to argue that he's saving time. But yeah, the d5 squares clamped. I've actually had a game like yesterday. I think it was yesterday. I can't remember, where I had like this weird position, and I think I had black's position, and this is really solid. I don't think you would lose with this. You just go rook d7, rook e d8, and then just claim where's your pawn break. That's pretty much what you do. Or rook f d8, sorry. But anyway, knight f6. I wonder if g takes is possible here. Is g takes even possible? Does that come up? No, but I think I did play g takes one time over the board, and this actually came to bite me. This actually, but no, wait. That was Rubinstein French. But I think if you want to be aggressive, this is possible. But yeah, you're. I guess the issue is we're just compromising too much. Our pieces are still very. The thing is, g takes is counterintuitive, and it discourages the exchange. Yeah, that's the problem. So yeah, knight takes f6. Oh wow, this is a very interesting one. So knight f6 here. Yeah, so bishop f6. Now, if knight f6 is played, then obviously black would just play, or white would just play like this, I guess. This doesn't make sense. Where am I? I had to find where I am in these annotations here. Okay, so it's with b5, the central light squares are well controlled. Knight f6, bishop f6. Um, yeah, swaps help black. That's a thing. So knight f6. This would just help with swapping. Like knight e5 is interesting, but then just queen takes d4, and they can get the structure with c3. But white's bishop pair and superior pawn structure give him a good return for the investment. I guess that's the argument. But still, I think for me, I'd prefer black. Like we've got the open b file, we got the open d file. Those pawns in the c file are much of a target. That's my argument. Um, but maybe white's got some good chances, like to probe things with the bishops. But let's see. So bishop f6 and Corzo Corzo is like, wow, Capablanca is like a genius. He's gonna go for this endgame and win. He fears the so I think he fears the endgame, so he just goes bishop e3, right? Okay, and so bishop e3, and so Corzo belatedly realizes that he should keep pieces on the board. However, now his eighth move proves to be a clear waste of a tempo. And so now bishop e3, castles, c3, b6. And so he's going to chip away white center with bishop e7 and c5. The alternative is to go super solid with bishop f3, queen f3, and c6. And it's very similar to a Karakan or Slav. With white's pawn on c4 rather than c3 though. Like so yeah, I guess the pawn would be on c3 then. White's bishop pair is an advantage only in paper, just as long as black doesn't allow the position to open prematurely. I see. Where am I? Yeah, so this is what we're talking about. So bishop f3, c6. And so we're going to keep this position stabilized. We're not going to open the position like right away or anything. Yeah, this is pretty solid, I think. So b6. White plays queen c2. And Capablanca plays this really interesting king h8. Oh, wait. Is there anything else? Where's b6? Oh, yeah. I mentioned this. Okay, good. So queen c2 was played by Capablanca, and Capablanca went king h8. All right, so here's an interesting question. For if anyone is watching, should black even take on f3, or should black stay solid here and not take on f3? Like, because also, like, we have to be careful with this g file, right? Is that going to backfire on us or not? And if you're wondering about bishop takes in h7, after bishop, so bishop f3, bishop h7, king h8, we have g6 and rook g8 as a nice pin, actually. Wait, does it cover that? Yeah, exactly. So bishop f3, g takes f3. Now, yeah, so bishop h7, king h8, g takes f3, we have g6 and rook g8. And there's no compensation for the pawns. Actually, black is doing very well here. There's going to be maybe some like queen e7, rook h8. All the pieces are getting into the game, I think. Yeah, this is a very good position. So bishop f3 and g6. Yeah, I think black is very solid here. He's got weaknesses to probe. He can play c5. So maybe he can create a weakness on the second flank. That's just one way of looking at this. But again, of course, it's very counterintuitive. Do we want to open the position for the bishops or not? That's one thing we just have to ask ourselves. Or do we want to find a weakness to attack? I don't know. Okay, so king h8. Yeah, so that was an exclam. He should have taken out f3. Capablanca didn't do it though. So knight d2 is played, and now Corzo avoids that. Interestingly enough, bishop h7, then this still works and just transposes in the variation that I've already shown. So knight d2, rook e8. Capablanca is kind of toying with his opponent. He's still got like bishop h. Well, okay, bishop h7 was played in the game. This is actually a mistake. It says white's dream of attack fails to correspond with the reality. There is a sucker born every minute. Black's king is perfectly safe, and 3 pawns aren't enough. So g6 is played. And so, okay, this is a really interesting thing to think about. So these are 3 healthy pawns for the piece, but what we have to look at is something more important. In the end, what we want doesn't count for much. It's what we get that matters. Black clearly stands better for the following reasons. Number 1, white failed to assemble sufficient reinforcements to commit to such a radical course of action, and there is simply no attack. And let's see if that makes sense. So these 2 rooks are simply out of the action. This knight is out of the action. This king I think is perfectly safe. Like really, it comes down to time. Is white in time to mate us? And the answer is simply no. Simply because there's one, maybe two, maybe three pieces. You've got to get like three pieces. Like there's these three pieces that defend the king, and if you want to attack, you have to disrupt the assault ratio. I think stuff like that. And so rookie seven. Okay. Oh, let's go back. So so white failed to assemble. So number one, white failed to assemble sufficient reinforcements to commit such a radical course of action, and there's simply no attack. White kindly opened the G file for black's rook, and his future attack down that file, taking aim at G2. Black has a grip on the light squares. So that makes sense. This bishop is unchallenged. That's the thing. After that exchange, this guy is no adversary. And number four, white's passers can be pushed until a considerable amount of material comes off the board. I see. Yeah, so these three pawns, like, they're very far from the goal. And if you can get the queens exchanged, maybe you've got some really good actually drawing chances. I mean, still they're on the second rank. If they're on like maybe the fifth rank, maybe there's some winning chances. Okay, so Queen E7 is played. And so Capablanca wants to exchange queens. He likes endgames. Now Rook E7 I think is more of the way to go. This seems to be much stronger apparently. At least this was given by the author. And so maybe we can look at this. So, let's say F4 is played. Well, obviously there's this tactic immediately, and no matter what piece you take, you can just pin them. So I guess that's another interesting point of Rook E7. It's just like has the hidden venom, keeps the queens on the board. Um, and maybe there could be some attack against White's king. Like the assault ratio might favor black actually because there's one, two, three. Wait, one, two, maybe three, four. There could be four pieces going at the king. I don't know. So let's see. F4 is played. I think this is move 17. Yeah. Now light square puncture. Now Okay, so F4 is actually not a good move here. White's last move was a strategic error, typical for the time, where White, in his delusion of attack, weakens his light squares further, especially G2. He also destroys the potency of his remaining bishop, whose menial job on E3 is quite at odds with his previous station in life and self-esteem. And so with on move 17, so he should have gone for this move F3 here, just blunting the bishop, and then after rook G8, there's Queen H6, Queen H7, and so the Capablanca would have gotten this nice exchange. Knight E4 would come in, and yeah. So I guess maybe like Bishop E7, and I guess White's holding this very well. If you take, then we gotta play Rook F8, and I guess that's still complicated. Like really, the question is, do we allow any? Are we allowing a passed pawn to become dangerous or not? I guess that's really the question if we take on E4 with the bishop. But F4 is played. This is very interesting. So Capablanca now plays Queen H7. He wants to exchange queens. And yeah, if the queen moves, then we're just losing some time here. The rook G8 is gonna come. Like for example, let's say queen. It can only go on the G file, and so after this, we're losing G2. And so the queens have exchanged. And it seems black stands better because white's kingside pawns have little chances of advancing due to the danger to his king. Black's light square bishop rules the long diagonal and worries about the potential attacks on g2. I see. So knight f3 is played. Rook g8. Rook a1. Rook g6. So Capablanca is starting to build some pressure on this g file here. Bishop d2. And there's this really interesting comment that I remember reading about this. The ugly bishop walks a few paces back behind his more powerful brother on black's side. The author, Cyrus Lakadawa, would play knight g5 check and try to steal the g file. So that's that. I mean, that's that. You're in the danger zone if you got to play like that. But it makes sense. You're trying to cover the weaknesses and try to hold. And even still, there's very, very bad light score weaknesses. Black can eventually break the blockade or induce white into weakening further with h4. Okay, so yeah, knight g5 should have been played apparently. Like for right here, I think. And so it's unclear if we should take or not, but yeah. They're going to play h4 next, so maybe taking is the best opportunity to. So bishop d2 was played. Capablanca plays bishop d5, attacking the pawn on a2, and he's going to start weakening the pawns. Pawn b3, and rook f8. I see. B5 isn't necessary yet, but yeah, I think b5 is possible, isn't it? Pretty sure. Okay, king g8. I wonder if b5 is possible here. I mean, it's playable. I guess knight g5 is the issue, isn't it? Okay, it's not. So you could have played b5. So b3, rook f8, king h1. Now this would actually be a blunder here because they can take on f3 and take in here. Just simply removes you can remove the defender. This is simply a tactical issue. So Capablanca strikes in the center with c5. I think this is a very important move. Maybe he can go now if d takes, then he's got knight takes, and he's attacking some very important light squares. Yeah, and so bishop e3. If bishop e3 is played, then just king h8, and after c4, you can move back, and c5 is still you can still just take on c5. I see. White is spellbound to keeping the line open for the e6 pawn. So I guess, yeah, this is an interesting thing. I guess it's just adding pressure, but I guess you can just still, like, you have bishop d4 check. e6 is never going to fall. Like, okay, wait, I'll just go further to explain this. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait. Oh, never mind. The king's on h1. Is rook takes is possible? Is this? I guess this is possible. Is it? Is this possible? B takes c5, rook takes e6. Rook g4, g3, bishop d4. I mean, these bishops are pretty strong. Maybe we have rook takes f4 here. Rook g7. This is yeah, I don't know. I actually think white has some good compensation. Of course, the engine disagrees with me, but I think it's like hard to attack something. So knight d takes c5, knight takes c5 was played. c4. And the bishop goes to a8. And so Capablanca is avoiding tricks on the bishop if white ever seizes the 7th rank. Like for example, like if bishop e7, like that's the thing. Bishops can be really easily attacked or knocked around. They're loose pieces sometimes. Or they can be bullied. So bishop e4 is played. And now you got pressure on g2. Interesting. So all of this is not necessarily like tactical or anything. He's just making simple, like he's making moves which are very logical. Okay. Oh, hello, sir. Who's this? Hello, Flying Bishop. So I'm going through these games in Jose Raul Capablanca. Yeah, a long time no see. Exactly. Um, yeah, nice. Yeah, so I was going through these games in this Capablanca move by move. This is actually my favorite book. I read this like 3 times. Um, so you missed quite a bit, but yeah, actually, oh, you started chess structures. That's good. Yeah, actually, today I had a game. What was it? I played. It's actually very similar to this particular game. What was it? Actually, I don't know if I covered any of these ideas in my course actually. But oh wait, no, wrong game. But yeah, Capablanca is definitely has lots of really good ideas. I think. Like this one, so the game that we're looking at, I actually played a blitz game that's kind of similar, right? Except, I kind of morphed some knight takes e6 like Tal Botvinnik match. But yeah, in any case, I think we got some good pawns here. Yeah, that's the thing. And so yeah, for white to get initiative, you got to keep the pieces on the board and well, for me personally, I like to provoke h6. But yeah, for this particular game though, so I'll do a quick review. So we've gone through. So I've gone e4, and so this is Capablanca versus Juan Gorzo. This is 1902. This is a casual game. We went through 1901 last stream, and so knight d7. This was played. And so really, yeah, this is the first. Believe it or not, this is actually the first occurrence of this variation. I think the Fort Knox, the first time this was recorded in history. So this is also another reason why this game is very important. Um, yeah, and so bishop c6 was played, knight d7, and so really black wants to challenge this knight on e4. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is the first time this is ever played, this variation. I wonder why there's no course on Chessable with the Fort Knox variation. Because, like, really, it can't be that hard to make a course. I mean, there's actually books. There's one book on this, I know. I have it somewhere on one of my drives. But yeah, this is a very important, interesting variation for sure. Yeah, there's the Rubinstein. Yeah, I did that one that was actually, Rubinstein course was my first course. I completed that, and I played that for like 1 year. And yeah, that was I think I really enjoyed that. I think maybe it was after Marchand opened in 2018. That's when I started playing that opening, I think. Um, yeah, and I think really, I think it's good for reading Agard's what is it? Excelling in Technical Chess. Uh, for understanding like not many people want to go into that. The Fort Knox. Yeah, not many people. Yeah, I understand. It's very different, right? Because simply you can just play a Carl Khan and save so much time. I think, like, because I feel like there's so many different weird theories that you can get into. Okay, so maybe you can take any four for the Tarash and Knight C3, but you still have to deal with like the exchange variation. You got to deal with like maybe some E4 C4 stuff. I mean, there's still lots of weird ideas. I don't know if it cuts on in theory or not. But anyway, I guess there's always some stuff. Um so yeah, for this particular game though, yeah, okay. So I'm going to point this out here. Bishop g5 is actually a huge mistake because we want to keep the pieces on the board as white. And so if you notice in my game, I didn't actually play like I don't go for I reserve the g5 square specifically for knight because I want to weaken these light squares. Oh, 3 bishop d3. Yeah, bishop d3 is very new. I saw that one course. I think it was by Chess for Life, was it? I don't exactly remember. But yeah, he plays bishop d3 exactly. Yeah, so bishop e3, there's knight g5, bishop e7, takes g takes, king here, h6. And so yeah, I play bishop on e3 here. e3 because I want to keep the pieces on the board. Maybe I can consider knight g3 too if I don't want to sacrifice. This is a blitz game, but I think maybe in a classical, I don't know. I think I'd still play knight g5 just because I enjoy sacrificing on e6 for some reason. But anyway, so bishop e3, that's where I play. But yeah, bishop g5 is actually bad because he's gonna exchange some pieces here. And so bishop e7 happened in the game. And yeah, so other ideas could have been knight here, keeping this piece on the board. And this is a really interesting concept. We're controlling these light squares in the center. And this bishop is doing a really nice job. Oh, let's see what you said. So queen e2 castle, queenside. Queen e2 castle, queenside is very solid. Let's go to analysis board actually for this. I did castle, yeah, queen e2 castle, queenside. Yeah, I did that here. But yeah, I guess I was trying to keep the tension. G takes I don't think was necessary. I think I should, but like he should have considered maybe this. And this was probably the better argument to my position here. Like I think this, or no, maybe I have to, now he has to play, I don't know if he has to play h6 now. Maybe oddly enough, he's got to play rook g8. No, not castles. Oh wait, can he castle? Well, I guess it doesn't matter, but yeah, he shouldn't be on the king side though. I don't know if this is possible, but I think if you play like this actually says this kind of puts this setup to like a, this kind of questions this. Because you kind of really ask, what are you, okay, f7 is under attack still, but all right, I guess maybe this isn't so easy. I guess this is not so easy. Okay, maybe there's this. So maybe not rook g8. I don't know. I'm not really looking. I'm very tired, so I don't. My vision's not the best. Rook hg1. So is knight d5 possible? Like you can take on h7, but it doesn't really matter because he was okay. Okay, yeah, that is possible actually. Yeah, so I guess it's really hard. This is a very difficult position then. But anyway, back to the game. So these are some alternatives. So you can take it there. And yeah, white can, or black can play the c6 idea, and it's just a very solid position. And rook d8, rook a8, yeah, exactly. Knight takes f6 is played. All right, well, anyway, yeah. So bishop e7, knight takes f6, bishop f6. And so yeah, Capablanca. And so by now, Corzo actually realizes that he's made a grave error, and so he's gonna go. He goes back to e3 here. And now white still has some time. And it's, you know, it's interesting because like at this time they didn't really have all these like very quick attacking things organized. Um, and so it's really interesting how Corzo tries to muddle through with some attack in this game. So yeah, Capablanca castles kingside, c3. c3 is very solid. Now c4 I think could transpose into like a Caro-Kann or some Slav position, right? Because there's always this idea, right? There's this always happens, and then there's queen. There's c6, and now we've just entered probably a Caro-Kann. But c3 at least keeps this position very interesting. This is the main difference between all those other ones. And I think this is kind of what makes the Fort Knox a little bit more special. Or it's kind of like the Rubinstein French. And so b6 is played. And so queen c2. And Capablanca plays, yeah, queen c2, it undefends this knight. And so, yeah, is it really correct to take on f3, I guess is a big question here to ask yourself. And this is actually one of the questions in Move by Move. That's why I like these books. It always gets you asking yourself questions. And so, what was it? Yeah, so it's actually, believe it or not, it's actually you're supposed to take here, as black. You have to take here and play g6. That's the point. And any bishop h7, like sacrificing, you have this. You can play g6 and rook g8. And there's actually you don't get 3 pawns for the piece. unfortunately. So king h8 was played, and Capablanca plays knight d2. Again, you can try this idea, but then simply we have this transposition. And there's not much going on here. So king h8 is actually a very sneaky move. Corzo plays knight e2. He doesn't want to get that exchange, and this is actually a good move because it avoids that structural damage. Capablanca plays rook e8, and Corzo takes on h7, and this is actually a really bad mistake. I haven't looked at what white should have done here. I think, yeah, okay, rook 81, and white's still better here. Rook 81 and bishop e4. Interesting. Yeah, and so, yeah, there's always I think maybe sometimes this author, Cyrus, does a little bit underestimate exchanging, right? Like, because John Watson did say, like, the position, what is it? Exchanges actually, they don't necessarily counter space advantage. That's a problem. Interesting stuff. Yeah, and so white has this, I guess still the space advantage is pretty good for white. This is actually a very rich position to play, I think. Anyway. But yeah, bishop h7 was played, and this is just well, for one, it's too slow. And so I'm going to tell you, and so I think I've already read this before. If we assess this position, like, okay, basic assessment. Material, is material equal? There's 4 pawns, there's 3 pawns for the piece. Material is equal on paper. Um, Material is equal in terms of points. King safety, technically, black's king is okay. King safety is very subjective because that goes hand in hand with which pieces are very active here. And so I think black's pieces are more active, and therefore his king is actually safer. Another point is okay, so there's a material, there's king safety. That's actually number 2 in this evaluation list. And then number 3, pawn structure. I think maybe white has a better pawn structure. Um, what else? So white has a better pawn structure. White's pieces are less active though. Yeah, and that goes hand in hand, of course. What's another point on this? Weak squares. I feel like there's actually, yeah, those light squares are actually very weak. And so I think the light squares actually are what makes the balance of the game more in Capablanca's favor. That wasn't actually in the book, but that's just my take on this. And so it says, yeah, in the end, what we want doesn't cover much, but it's what we get that matters. So black clearly stands better for the following reasons. White failed to assemble sufficient reinforcements to commit such a radical course of action, and there's simply no attack. Yeah, white has no attack here. These rooks are still stuck. The knight is lost some time, and so there's just no attack. White kindly opened the G file for black's rook and his future attack down that file, taking aim at G2. Black also has a grip on the light squares. And I think, yeah, it gets going on to the queen side a little bit and the king side. White's passers can't be pushed until a considerable amount of material comes off the board. Yeah, I agree with that. So, like, for example, in the Najdorf, there's the game Najdorf versus what's his no, I think it's Bronstein versus Najdorf. Bronstein played it was Bronstein versus Najdorf. There's queen f3 line. He played b5, and then there's knight takes b5, pawn takes b5, knight takes or bishop takes b5, pawn takes b5, knight takes b5, and then he took on d6 and ended with a rook on taking on d6. And so that's a really interesting endgame in the Najdorf. So anyway, queen e7. This is actually a little inaccurate. Capablanca had to keep the queens on the board and threaten bishop takes g2 here. And so queen h7. Knight f3, rook g8, rook a1. Okay, and so we've left off here. Black stands better. It says black stands better for the following reasons. Because white's kings on pawns have little chance of advancing to the danger of his king. That's huge actually. And also conveniently, this king is already well placed at blockading those pawns. That's a factor that's actually missed. Like in Bronstein versus Najdorf, the king actually castled, and that was a huge mistake. For example, here, I don't know if I've shown this in my course actually. There's lots of ideas though that I always have. And so in this particular game, he takes here, takes there. And so there's this. Yeah, the bishop on. Okay, so castling here is wrong. He's got to play king e7 here. And now we're going to see this huge change in the position here. Like, yeah, white's just going to go break through here. He's got this strong pass pawns. I mean, he lets him fork. But the problem is even if he's like a piece down, these pawns are just strong. And he forks them right here. And so if his king didn't have to make like extra moves, black would actually have been kind of equal, right? It's really hard to hold this as black. But yeah, you got to play king e7 though. That's the thing. Yeah, king e7 right here. And yeah, king e7 maybe just rook d3 or something, or rook. I don't know where the rook is going to go. The rook is actually, I don't know if the rook is well placed here. I should study this. But in any case, let's go back to the game. So king takes h7, and so knight f3 was played. Rook g8, targeting g2, rook ae8, and rook g6. Okay, so e6 is kind of almost indirectly defended in some variations. And bishop d2. This is a very ugly move to make, but I guess he just wants to pressure e6. Capablanca plays bishop d5, defending e6, and I think he's going to do some rerouting these pieces here. So b3, so the bishop is going to be kicked by c4. Capablanca plays rook f8. Yeah, b5 isn't necessary yet. It's possible, but not necessary. King h1 is played. Yeah, now c4 is actually a mistake here. After c4, we can just take on f3 and take here with check. So that's actually why he plays king h1. Because he wants to take a, I think, he wants to take an e6, doesn't he? Or maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Well, I guess that's still not possible, but yeah, the check's out of the way. So c5 was played. I'm gonna get water. So c5 was played. And I guess, yeah, it's a principle. You got to open the position when you have the bishop pair. So after d takes on c5. So bishop e3 is a solid move, but it's not better. So d takes c5, I guess the argument is this kind of helps black, but even keeping the tension is actually not good here. You can just take on, oh yeah, but I wonder if even taking on f3 is good. Is this even good here? Take f3. I don't know. Yeah, I think bishop f3 is better here. I agree. So the engine agrees with me. Bishop f3, rook f3. Exactly. And you can just take here. So they get a, I think these annotations were a little bit, like, I guess this just transposes to the idea. It shows the idea, right? But I think, yeah, you just gotta go like this. And you just want a pawn. So now knight takes on c5 was played. And yeah, he plays c4 here. And the bishop goes all the way to a8 because the bishop is going to be attacked on the 7th rank. or even on the 6th rank. So bishop b4 is played. Rook fg8. Okay, I don't know if he should have exchanged here, but I guess that's the best shot. And so this is actually another important moment for anyone. If you're watching the VOD, you gotta pause the video here. If you're black, what would you play here as black? I remember I was thinking here, like, okay, wait, actually, let's go one more. Oh yeah, I meant black. Yeah, this is one more move. So yeah, black. And so like, I think most people would. Okay, so I guess yeah, this is a good place to pause. But you might still see the notation anyway. Um, but in any case, yeah, you got to take on g2 here. This is very nice. Capablanca spots this like, and he's like 12 years old and he spots this, and this is just very impressive. So rook takes on g2, and so I guess one of the points is like that rook is very overloaded. The bishop's under attack. He can play like bishop c3 and stuff, like or even bishop h4. Bishop h4 is deadly. He's gonna threaten double checkmate. So bishop e3 is played. If bishop d6 was played here, there's rook g1 and mating like this. Isn't it? Okay, maybe not mate. He's got rook g2. This is actually very dangerous, though. I think he's just losing. It's just like losing a piece. Okay, this is mate. Yeah, I just can't calculate. Um, rook e6. This is a nice intermediate move, trying to counterattack. But the issue is you can just take here. And that's mate, right? Because if you take, then there's check, check. Wait, is it checkmate? Oh yeah, that's checkmate, yeah. And bishop g1, this is a very clever idea. Like just trying to keep the piece. But you can still do this idea, right? And just transposes to those checking ideas. Yeah, and this is gonna be mate here. So bishop e3 is played. Bishop h4. So bishop h4 attacks the rook. And interestingly enough, yeah, knight takes h4 just loses to rook g1 mate because this is double check. So rook d1 is played. Oh yeah, this is a really I already played it, but yeah, this is something that I've thought about when I was reading this. There is this incredible move that you can make here, and it's like disconnects all of White's pieces here. Capablanca finds this insane move, bishop f2, and he was only 13 years old when he made this. I think, yeah, 13-year-old kid. So, oh yeah, this is on 1902, so he was 13. The chapter 1, he was 12. So rook d7 was played. Rook takes f2, then there's just probably, is it rook cheat? No. Just rook takes and yeah, you can try that, but there's always bishop f3 coming, no matter how many checks you have. Or king takes f3 in this case. Yeah, and there's going to be some mating issues. Like if they play any h pawn move, like to give himself a square, you can just take on g3 and the mate's still coming. There's rook g8, but I guess it's just losing. It's just losing simply. So rook d7 was played. Yeah, rook takes f2 is oh yeah, I showed this. Okay, yeah, and rook d8 is actually mating, it seems. Apparently in 5 moves. So king h6 was played. Rook d, oh my goodness. And so, yeah, here's the thing. Rook takes f2 fails to rook g1 mate. That's always the thing. h4 loses to bishop takes on f3. And there's still like that double check. There's always the threat of double check and maybe mate at some point. So rook d5 was played, trying to block that bishop on a8. And so I think really this game is just showing this bishop is just the MVP of the position. So bishop takes on e3, knight g5, and yeah, Capablanca plays this nice move. Rook takes g5. The thing is that rook is just pinned, so he's losing the rook anyway. And yeah, this is actually really tough. This is the simplest move actually. Rook 2. Yeah, this is the simplest move. It's not the best one, but it's the simplest. And White's just simply losing this position. Yeah, and that's mate. So I got through the whole game. That was game number 2 in this book, actually. So, so now, now that we got the lesson over, let's see. Jose Raul Capablanca. Let's see. So yeah, it was a French defense. We allow this. Bishop here. C5 is possible. I think this is a really nice attack, and it was very one-sided simply because that bishop just couldn't be challenged. Yeah, this is a mistake here. So White's actually better here after 92. There's not really much that Corzo can do, I think. Anyway. Yeah, that was a good game, I think. Got through it finally. But anyway. So game 2 is completed. So good luck with your chess. Thank you all for watching. Good luck with your chess. And bye for now. That's Mato says that.